Okay, good evening, people. Okay, let's talk about building a legacy that you can leave behind for yourself. Notice I said yourself, your children, future generations to come. I was talking to a friend on the internet via email, and I also spoke to a friend face to face about the whole legacy thing. And as I was talking to people, I realized that people really don't understand the whole legacy thing that I talked about. Either because they don't believe it, or certain things haven't sunk in yet in terms of the nature of reality, the nature of consciousness, and so forth. So let me ask you a question. What happens when you die? Do you just stay with that? You get buried and you're underneath the ground and you stay there until some deity, the religious deity, comes to wake you up to come to heaven? Do you go straight to heaven? You know you don't go to heaven. Just because you're lied to go to heaven, the last frequency. No, you're not. Unless your higher self tells you you are going to paradise, aka the last frequency, aka heaven, you better prepare. Prepare for peace, prepare for comfort. And you don't wait until you come back to relearn everything. If you're eternal, what happens? Well, the very notion that you are eternal should really imply to you already that something happens when you die. A leaf is an extension of a tree. An apple is the product of the tree. The apple, the seed, the smallest element becomes the tree. 1 + 1 is 1. But yet we're too busy not planning for the future. If hell is bad, and we are in hell, what is so wrong about planning for the future so you can be in peace? The West has a culture of constantly thinking about living in the moment. That's on purpose. It's a distraction. In any case, this whole legacy thing is about your children and your children's children. But most importantly, it's about you. Because you don't know what's going to happen. And if you do, it can change. And if you do know what's going to happen, it can change. I'm talking about returning to this frequency. I'm talking about, unless you know that you're returning to source, unless your higher self told you in some shape or form, forget it. You're not returning. But if you're planning, let's say you plan something in this frequency, something for the future, your future children, your children for the future, right? Your source can tell you, you've done well. You can actually come back to this dimension and learn the same lessons you would on another planet. Or you can ask your own source self directly, because often when you ask a question, you're given an answer. And sometimes you may not register that you've gotten an answer. But unfortunately, in terms of the legacy building, a lot of us have given up on the dream. Because we were sold a dream, we were sold a lie. The American dream. Perhaps when we were children, we were told that we can become anything. But then as life went on, we saw the obstacles, the struggles along the way, and we settled. for a job perhaps that it's hard to get fired from. We settled. And to some extent, it's okay if you haven't given up completely. If you haven't given up the overall objective of the legacy. Because there's no way, if I knew I was coming back to this planet, if I knew I was coming back to the universe, you better believe I would be working twice as hard as I am now. I mean, there were days when I was driving to school, to work, when I almost got in a car accident because of healing. Yeah, that almost happened. I didn't give up. To me, it was logic. It was logical. It was like 1 + 1. At the core, 1 + 1. A piece and a piece, put it together is always 1. So, I always figured I would build my legacy and I will leave. In this case, let me say I'm one of the few people in the universe, one of the few, who do not need. Okay, that's poor English. I'm one of the few people who does not need to build a legacy. Who doesn't have to build a legacy? Because I'm returning to source. What's the point of building a legacy? Well, I'm building one anyway because of my soldiers. My soul group, the ones who defended me beyond the physical. I know who they are. And in so doing, I want to speed it up so that I'm not working my whole entire life. How long would it take you to build your legacy? 5 years, 10 years? Well, I say if you haven't been working on it, it'll take you a good 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, who knows how long it's going to take me? I mean, I have a goal, I have a milestone to reach, but who knows? So when you build your legacy, you need to have an open mind. That this whole entire planet is yours. These nonsense things such as a passport here, a passport there, there are lies that are put out there. For most of my life, I have been quote-unquote American. I had an American passport, IDs, and so forth. Did I have an Togolese from Togo, a passport? No. I got a visa, and after the visa expired, I had to leave the country. But did that stop me from acquiring whatever I needed to think about the future? So if things go bad or poorly, I'll have an option. Now, it wouldn't be the option that I want, because I don't have enough cash to complete my legacy objectives. Ladies and gentlemen, poverty is not spirituality. Poverty is not wealth. There's nothing wrong with having money. When you have money, and you have a reason for having money, and the reason leans towards peace and being okay, not working for money's sake, but working to get money to do what you need for your future and legacy. So when you return to this world, when your light reincarnates back into this world, and if you're smart, you did it correctly, you wouldn't have to work. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, even in the United States of America, if you set things up correctly, hey, you could be a trust fund baby. I mean, imagine being able to spend most of your time trying to solve your problems. And you have problems, believe you me. trying to get deeper into yourself, to release the negativity, to release the blockages, to release the belief systems accumulated throughout the ages, throughout the millions and trillions of years. Oh, believe me, it's been that long. What if you could have one lifetime to work on that without worrying about going to school? And if you go to school, it'll be, be forced to go to college, or you go do what you need to do. And so you focus on your healing. And how fast would that be to reaching source? Man, for the past 2 years, do you know what I've been through? Do you know what I put myself through in terms of healing? For the past 5 years, you know what I put myself through? I'm not playing. I wasn't playing. I fasted 7 days. And when I beat the 7 days, I tried to do 8 days. When I collapsed onto the couch, I was like, all right, okay, my body's telling me I need to drink something. So I drank something. And then a week later, I tried again. Now, I noticed something is missing this time around, but I gotta get that drive back again. But that drive was there because I knew what I wanted. And I don't like people telling me, or the system telling me I can't. The more I'm told I can't, the more I want to do it, because I know deep inside I can't. I can. I was told at work, and some of the things that people say at work are direct, and most of it is not. You basically have to work for 30 years or 40 years in the system and you get a pension. Listen, I could not last more than another. I couldn't last 10 years. I mean, physically and speaking, I could. But where I am, in terms of my light awareness, I don't want to. And I'm not going to. Can you imagine me working another 15 to 20 years? Shoot, I'd rather be doing some farming, but I don't want to farm because I have to. I want to have enough money so that I don't have to farm, or if I do have to farm, it won't be like subsistence or like a need. So I was talking about life insurance. If you don't know much about life insurance, I'll summarize it for you again, because if you're smart, you will really look into it. For a long time, these companies, life insurance companies, a life insurance company is just basically a financial company that's disguised as a life insurance company. Some of the investments, quote-unquote investments, are disguised. They're set up like life insurance, but they're really just just really like mutual funds and slash other investments. And the problem is, for a long time, I'll tell you what I think in a second. The problem is, for a long time, and by the way, I'm an agent if you are listening to this for the first time. The problem is, for a long time, it was pushed upon people, what was pushed upon them? Term life insurance and whole life insurance. Well, the problem is, anyone who does a bit of research or asks questions will understand that term life insurance, 98% of the time does not pay out. Because people don't die when they're supposed to die, or when they had planned to die, when they thought about dying. So you paid your fees your whole entire life, you don't get anything out of it. And so that's a problem with term life insurance. In terms of whole life insurance, well, people get happy because the investment aspect, the cash value, that's accumulating. You're like, yeah, cool, you can borrow from, but it's not really yours. You have to pay it back. So that's a problem with whole life and term. But they didn't tell us, the average person, these companies, they didn't tell us about LIRP, LIRP. They didn't tell us that there are other products that we can invest in, that we can they can write up contracts for us, and we will never lose money, no matter how the market is doing. They didn't tell us that. They didn't tell us that they can offer interest rates as high as 9.5%. They didn't tell us that annuities can be set up in a way to give you very high interest rates, easily 10%, 11, 12, 13%. The more money you have, the higher it is. They didn't tell us that we can actually structure certain life insurance to mirror annuities. Did you know that? So the legacy, imagine you have a couple of life insurance policies, and okay, fine, you know that you don't have a whole lot of money, you're struggling, or you're not struggling. Well, there's nothing wrong with having a universal index that has a high percentage of death benefit and a low percentage of cash value, so you don't have to grow the cash value all that much, because your focus is death benefit. Because if you die, then most of the money goes to your children. Well, can you set it up such that it's in the form of a trust, so that your children can just spend it without thinking it through, a certain amount per month, and so it becomes a generational thing, so it goes beyond this lifetime, because souls travel together. When you pass over, you come back to the same family, unless you have a broken family. Now I know the system gives source players a hard time. I know that I've had interferences, but logically speaking, there's no reason why I can't succeed. I know that I have been slowed down, but I haven't thought about a single reason why I will be completely stopped. So, if I had listened to my mother sooner, I would have a lot more assets. I may even be very close to quitting my job, right? But now I have to weather the storm. Souls travel together. Lights travel together, people. So setting something up, even in America, even in the West, where you don't have to have that headache, that stress, that heartache of not having enough to eat, not having enough to go to college. Priceless. Priceless. Okay. So, in the pursuit of building this legacy for my family, I don't have any children yet, but it's a family time of my life. So this is in the south of Togo, Togo, which is in West Africa. This is a small property that we bought. It's about a 1.25, 1.5 lots. So it's not huge. And so I'll show you some pictures, because what I'm hoping is that you understand that I'm not rich. You understand that I didn't make any money from my books. That you understand that I've been a regular guy working 2-3 jobs. And I did this little by little throughout the years. So we hired people in the south of Togo, TOGO. We hire our own contractors so we can negotiate the price. So you can see the previous picture they were working on setting the foundation for the house. In this picture you can see what we did was to put a wall around the entire property. So we did like a rectangle because we're trying to. I personally don't like nosy people, so we put a fence around it, a wall around it. What just happened? Okay, another picture. This is one of the properties in that area. So far we have 2 bedrooms my mother is building. So it's not anything huge, So I'm big on having space to play, to walk around. My mother is not, but she understands more now. Okay, foundation, the same place. Foundation. This is a tree stump that we had to remove. Foundation. Okay, you see how it was before? The greens. Foundation, these bricks were outside. Laid the bricks outside. Okay, so there's a street. Foundation. Okay, so we were working against time here, and we failed. Whoa. My grandmother, my mother's mother, we were hoping that she would live in that particular house before she passed on. I did get a chance to see her a couple of times, and she actually surprised me when I was trying to help her with the afterlife. She was really listening, and I was amazed. And it was like her soul was in charge, or like she had put her mind aside, and her soul was listening. And I'm sure there are people listening now, and you say, well, she's older than you. Please, people. You really don't know how this game works, man. Some people are older and they know more. Some people are older, they don't know much, or they don't remember much. Man, I'll tell you a story. My mother, we went to Peru, ayahuasca, right? My mother's older than me. And there was this vision scene, where I was talking to her. I was trying to convey messages to her. I was trying to fill her in on what's going on. Things like, well, I didn't get any specifics, but now I understand. It's like everything that's going on, like transgenders and so forth. And in that stage, I was like, why isn't she understanding? And there was another source player. When I say source player, I mean, you might as well say source, because it's like a huge part. Said, someone who controls things, like literally, you can't get past, right? Someone, a being of massive light, said, don't worry. He told me, don't worry. Everything is going to be okay. And that was just the boy inside, the boy who everything's going to be okay. She hasn't had your experiences. I'm like, holy crap. So when people look at things from a limited perspective, there's a lot more. So, again, I just okay. Well, she was over 100 years old when she passed, and as I understand it, she will be okay. But she didn't get a chance to stay in the house. Let's move on to the next photo. So here, the building, the house is coming along. These are the builders. Okay. Okay, you can see it's coming along. This is a gate here. And the good thing about this is it's brick, and you know, brick lasts a long time. What happened? Is that the end of the photos? Oh. Okay. Now, that was just one location in the south of the country. Let's look at another location. So, I'm talking about a legacy for a reason. A legacy can't just be one property, because you need to have a diversity of assets, okay? So now, let's look at another location. Okay, how am I opening this? Let's click on it, I guess. Okay. So this is a different location. Alright, so this location I didn't have much of a hand in constructing, meaning paying for it. This is the location that my mother worked. I mean, she was working on it since the 1990s. But I know it's been at least 30 years. She was told that she would never build a house or complete that house. And when I heard it, I laughed, of course. You know, I laugh because I like challenges. I just logically, some of these things don't make any sense, because when you're cleansed and you're like, anyway, this is the backyard, sort of, and they're working on cementing it. We cook outside as well as inside. Okay, remember, so this is another location. Okay, so recently we cemented this section, and so this has a walk area, and it's here, that section's done. So this, you can see this section, the centerpiece, is the main building. It's separated from the left side. So the centerpiece is it's a side by itself. The side piece is another part of the building. And the side piece, there are two different apartments. Apartments meaning sections of apartments. So for one family, one apartment building. So not one section of the apartment building has 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, and a living room, bathroom, and so forth. And the other one, more near toward the garage, also has the same. But no, is there a kitchen? I don't think there's a kitchen, so you have to cook in a corridor, I think. So again, this is another location. Okay, so you can see it better here. And now we sit in a corridor. We painted this. Okay, so for a long time, this place was getting bad. It was just, the walls were, you could see molds growing. So I got tired of it. I said, you know, and our cousin who was staying there, it's another story. They were staying rent-free and still whining like a little bitch. So you can see the type of rocks, the color natural rocks. So I said, you know what, it'd be beautiful if we put natural color rocks instead of painting it. So we did that, and we still have some sections left to do. My mother said this, you know, this is okay the way it is. We have the color rocks. Okay, this is the view from the outside. Okay, I hope you can see the color rocks, natural color rocks that we put it, because the mold was just, you know, I'd rather pay a little more money to put color rocks than painting every so years. And I had a lot of fun with this coconut tree, especially when I was fasting. Fasting slash my raw food diet. Do you know what cats love? Coconut milk. Fresh coconut milk? No. Yes, yeah, coconut milk. I have these cats, right? The family cats. And if you ferment it, they won't eat it. Okay, so this section has the rocks as well. So we need to do this section as well. Alright. Okay, this is the outside. See the motorcycle. See how it looks decent. It's coming along. Gate. Huh, finally, they did that. Very good. There's a second floor, by the way. The second floor has a lot more bedrooms. So we can use that to, you know, bring in a bit of money. That's from my mother. This is my mother's house. Okay, so what's the difference? I mean, my mother's house, the lady is 64 years old, right? What happens when your parents pass? What becomes yours? That's part of the legacy. So when you help them build it, well, certain values must be instilled in the children. You know, in our family, unless there's like, we don't sell land. I don't know about my grandfather, but in my generation, that's going to be a key thing that my children will understand. I don't care if you're dying. You poor planning. Okay, so
one of the great challenges in this world is knowing enough about
this guy is
to think you're right. But
okay, good. Let me click him off. So outside, the sand used to work on the building. Another outside view of the coconut. Friend of the family. The roof of the left side. It was a repair. More repairs. Okay, I think that, so that's the second location. Alright, I'll show you a third location. The Third location is located toward the capital of the country. All right, well, we're gonna start with our cats. Yeah, this is one of our cats. This is a female cat. She's my favorite because he approaches me more than the other cats. So, but I was a little sad when, well, okay, that's not necessary. Let's move on. Okay, again, this is the building near the Capitol. So, again, this is part of the Legacy building. This is a 2.25 lot. I don't know if you know how big a lot is. Just looking at the building, you can see how big a lot is. So on one lot, well, so we have about 2.25 or 2.5 lots. I know you can't see it, but so we have a fence around. So one section of the house, okay, we have this building. This is my mother's section of the house. So basically one day, my mother and I, she was sitting in a corridor, the veranda of the first floor, this first floor inside, and I made a joke. I was joking, and I said, why don't we just make it three floors, 3 levels? And she took me seriously, and I was like, God, more money to spend. But I'll tell you this, it's well worth it. It's because we have one level. First level has how many bedrooms? Well, it has well, she has one huge bedroom on the first floor, and then a kitchen, and the kitchen living room together. It's huge. You can divide it into 2, and then closets. The garage is big. So basically, it's like one gigantic bedroom. Now this is a second level. So the second level has a couple of bedrooms and a couple of bathrooms. So we separated it to be we planned it, just in case families can stay, if we need to, whatever we need to do, let's have more than one bedroom. So several bedrooms and several bedrooms on the third floor as well. And you have the veranda here. The veranda, so you can get some air. And then, so we closed the top off, and that was the end of that. Now the top, my idea is to grow food, but this is her section of the building, her section of the house. Now, if you walk this way, you'll see my section. But my section is only one level because we don't have enough money to do everything. You can't do everything. So you do things little by little. So right now, we have things going on. Electricity must be put into. We need to furnish things. So the money isn't there. So I decided to just put a halt on this and focus on the whole life insurance and putting more money into the cash value to earn interest. But this will be done within the next 5 years. You better believe it. Sooner than that. So basically, our section, when I say our section, I mean my wife and I and the kids, when the kids come, it's going to be as high as this. We don't want one section to be bigger or taller than the other. So we want to have 3 floors, 3 levels, and then 3 levels on the other side. So basically, when you go inside through here, through the gate, you see the building. It's like, wow, it's nice. right? So there is an open space between the buildings. So it's not one building, it's two. There's open space where you walk around. So it's really more like a compound separated. So you don't have to be stuck inside your room all day. You come outside, you sit in the veranda, you look up, you see the sky. Okay, that's how most African buildings are. They're built so that you walk outside, you see the sky. So you're not stuck inside the whole entire day. Yes, here are the cats. Now these cats, I saw them in a vision state. There is like a process of progression with people and things. These two beings become very powerful creatures in the future. One becomes, well, they both become cats, but like, the tigers and so forth. So it's a process of evolution, the little cat becomes a big cat. Yeah. Alright, so another view for the building. Yeah, you can see. Okay, I'm gonna pause that. Échale el miedo al fuego. So, this is our section that we're going to be working on. Now, this building can't be allowed to stay like this, right? It's not going to be like this. We're going to do something. I don't want color. We don't want color. We don't want paint, because you have to keep painting. Marbles or something of that sort that you don't have to keep working on. Then when it's done, it's going to be beautiful. But we want to do both sections. So here's another view. Another view. Well, you can see the third. This is 1, 2, 3. The way things are set up in Africa, you have to build a little more on the third floor to protect the building from water. This is the inside view. This little guava tree. Okay, so those are the 3 locations that will help with the legacy, because the family will not be allowed to sell these properties. Things will be put in place that they will not be able to sell it, because each generation needs to use it to accomplish its spiritual goals, spiritual/light goals. This idea of selling off things is not very pleasing to me. And I'm in a family that understands, so I don't intend to encounter any problems, so we just have to train the kids to accept that as well. So you have these houses that you can rent, or you can, I don't know, whatever. You can use it for business, right? What about land? Of course, you gotta have a bit of land. Now, depending on where you are in the world, there are different rules. Land in Africa, it's much better in America, and it's really yours. Land in Africa, like South America, I think most part of South America, but I know for sure that a lot of the, like Haiti, Africa, if you buy land, it's your land. This whole taxation bullshit, Even this house you're seeing on the screen, you built it, it's yours. You built it, it's yours. We didn't borrow money. We saved money and we built it. And now the government wants to come in and put taxes? Thank God. The people have been refusing taxes for a long time. That's true freedom. So for so long, I didn't have what I call useful skills. My next objective is to put these electrical companies and gas company, to move them out of our way, out of my family's way. And I have the skills to do it now. So, in a way of speaking, we can be nearly or completely off the grid. There are so many less restrictions in Africa than there is in the West, in America. It's just unbelievable. You want to build a shed in your house, in your property, you have to have permission? Are you kidding me? A building permit? Who made these people God? In addition to the buildings, and of course I have to do one more, otherwise my grandfather is not going to be happy with me. My grandfather has we have a one lot, or maybe it's a little more, 1.5 maybe, that is being neglected, sitting there because I'm the last really, because my younger brother doesn't take interest in that bill. I mean, it'd be great if he took interest, and we can do something on that property and bring back that house. So I have to do something there as well. And so in the meantime, I've been acquiring land in America, and I think in a typical person's visual memory, or I don't think it's a lot. I think it's a decent amount. It's enough to last a couple of generations, feed families, feed hundreds of families. Okay, so that is part of the building the legacy. So you have land. And you don't have to be like black to do this in Africa. I mean, people are doing this, flying in from the west, from Europe all the time. You don't have to be. Look, I started this before I became African, before they gave me my nationality, my national card. So there's so many propaganda going on, making you think that you can't really go anywhere. You can go anywhere. You can, well, most places, Costa Rica. You just look to see what the laws are. You know, and you dig into it. So you saved a bit of money. So once you have the properties, the houses, you save a little bit of money through life insurance. Worst come to worst, you didn't build anything. You just have a simple house, but you have the life insurance for your kids. So you pass, they get a few million. But you've given them instructions and values so that they can continue with the generational wealth. So when you come back, so because you've given them a good education, a good moral upbringing, they will use that to raise you as their children now, because once upon a time you were their father, once upon a time you were their mother. Now the roles are reversed. So I told a friend that, listen man, I remember working the graveyard shift. Just in case you don't know what the graveyard shift is, people, The graveyard shift, when we say the graveyard shift, that means that we work overnight from 12 a.m. To like 8 o'clock or so. Working the graveyard shift. I did that. It took a stress on me. It probably put a few entities in my body. And one of my friends is doing that now. Listen, man. When things get tough, you don't have backup plans. I mean, money might be tight. Money is tight for us right now. Certain bills I can't pay. But certain things are important. And I won't let that go. At least one of the policies must come through, must be good. And so, as I said, I don't have term. I don't have whole life. I just have a universal index that allows me to keep putting money into the cash value, the investment aspect. And I have a good interest rate, and the money is growing monthly, not yearly, monthly. And they're gonna be months where it doesn't grow because of the market. But well, I'll have to wait and see, right? But at least I know I'm not gonna lose any money. So once the life insurance comes in, and let's say that's what you're doing, you have $1 million in your account. You can say $1 million is enough. You know, if you know me, I'm not gonna stop at $1 million, because $1 million is you know, it's good, but you know, unless I'm really tired of working, then I'll just say, okay, well, maybe I can have something else. But you know, if you have $1 million, you can invest at least half $1,000,000. You put that into, like, because people, life insurance is really investment. What do you call it? A financial opportunity in disguise as life insurance, because when you have the equity, you know, so when you have like universal index, you're still investing in the equities market. You are. You just set it up in a way that you can't lose money. That's all it is. But you just can't call it a regular investment. But you're earning interest. I mean, where are you going to be able to find 8, 9, 10%, 11, 12, 13, depending on how much money you put in at a bank? The bank won't even give you 1%. But most of these people are putting their money into, most of the banks are putting their money into where? Into life insurance. We have car insurance. We have to have car insurance by law, but nobody has life insurance. Well, not, some people don't have life insurance, right? I mean, I wish I knew. I wish I knew that the other options of not losing money was possible. I would have invested a long time ago. And I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why I think we don't know this. We don't know because we don't have a lot of money, like $200, $250, $300,000 on our bank account. And this has been kept a secret for the rich because we don't have the money. Why would they even offer us like 10% a year or 10% a month, 11%? We don't have the money in the bank account. So some of these companies, they just train their people to just offer one thing, which makes sense. But I think I'm pretty sure the industry is in trouble. Life insurance agency is in trouble. I think what's happening is that because it's in trouble, they're beginning to share the secrets with us. Some of these other things. Now, remember, once a contract is a contract, doesn't matter how badly the company does. It doesn't matter. Life insurance contract is a contract. Doesn't matter. It has to pay. So basically, they've kept us poor. The system, especially the life insurance industry, they've kept us poor on purpose when they could have given us more options. If I had known, I would have easily saved $200,000 in 10 years. I would have. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy to have 2-3 jobs. But no, and if I wouldn't need to work right now. Because if you take $200,000 and you earn 9-10%, and you're earning that a month, ay, ay, ay. So, to conclude, everything is possible. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. Not when you believe. Not when you believe. Everything is possible when you understand it's possible. You can't just believe that you're going to build a house. You must know you can. You must know that, logically speaking, you make this much money. How much does it cost to do this? You do the math, it's possible. And if it's not possible, you find ways. Source will help you find ways. The same thing is true for other things in life. How strong do you want to get? How bright do you want your soul to shine? People, it's all possible. Good luck. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I think after talking to my friend yesterday, I thought maybe the initial photos sharing of this legacy might be helpful. At this point, I think this is more important than actually sharing the final photos years from now. At least you see that it's possible. I don't care what the cabal is doing. They're not that strong. They're not that strong. You have conditioned yourself to believe that you always need a savior. You always need to ask for help. They're not that fucking strong. You can do anything you want. Anything. You can become anything you want. Work on it. Stop having excuses. Feels like I'm talking to myself. Alright, I gotta start fasting again.